Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic of accessibility, that is four principles of accessibility, acronymed as POUR, where P stand for perceivable, O for operable, U for understandable, and R for robust. It's a very important topic of accessibility. It is also a very important topic for the ones who are going to give an accessibility interview, or who are looking their future as an accessibility developer or as an accessibility tester. Now, one thing I like to underline here, that as per Web Content Accessibility Guidelines 2.1, the officially large release version of accessibility guidelines, every website application has to be accessibility compliant. So when we are saying accessibility compliant, it means every user, starting from a normal user, a blind user, a low vision user, a deaf user, a user who have challenges in moving their hands, or making any movements, should have access to the application or the website without any challenges or without any restrictions. They should easily navigate through your application and through your website. So make sure, if you are developing an application or website, make sure it is accessibility compliant. So coming back to the four principles of accessibility, let's get started. The first one, that is perceivable. So we can perceive through our senses, right? So in terms of accessibility, the information can be perceived through vision, by listening, or by touch, right? So perceivable means your end user, no, the application or the website that you're developing, the end user should identify the content and your interface elements by the means of senses means by vision, by hearing, or by touch. Okay, so that whatever the information you have presented in your application or UI, they can perceive that information through vision, by seeing, by listening. When I'm saying listening, let's take an example, that there is a video in your application, and there is a deaf guy accessing your application and that video. So that video should have should have a captions, correct? So that the deaf persons who can't listen to the videos can understand to that caption or a transcript file, correct? Similarly, for blind persons who is accessing your application, can't see your application, should, while using the assistive technology like JAWS, NVDA, okay, or Chromebox, should understand or should perceive the information of your application to the assistive technologies. Now there is also one means by perceiving information by touch. We have the example of the braille keyboards. Okay, so perceivable means that whatever the information you are presenting in your application to the end user, the end user can understand that through, or perceive that through vision, by listening, or by touch. Now coming back to the second principle of accessibility, that is operable. As the name suggests, operable, your application or your website should be such that the end user, like the various types of end user as I mentioned, should operate your or navigate through your application easily. Okay, like there are users who can use keyboard, there are users who can use voice commands. So the end user should operate your application without any restriction, and that is operable means. Okay, because there may be users who can't use a mouse, who can't use a keyboard. They should also, you know, operate or navigate through your application. So that is how important accessibility is, to make your website or application accessibility compliant. So that is what operable stands for, to make your application operable for all kinds of users, even though they can't use mouse or keyboard. So let's take an example. Our very famous, Stephen Hawkins. I know, like every one of you knows about Stephen Hawkins, correct? So we all know that Stephen Hawkins used to suffer from ALS, that is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis disease. It means he lost his capacity to write, to speak, to make any movements. So how he used to communicate? He used to communicate. He used to have a special type of computer, okay, and there is a device, installed in his cheeks, okay, and through that, through the movement of his cheeks, he used to communicate with that computer or with that device, and used to convey his messages to the end users. So this is also one form of making, the system or the application accessibility. The user, can't move his hands, you know still can, access your application or website. So the great Stephen Hawkins is an example of that. Now coming back to our second option that we discussed just now, operable. Our next option is understandable. So as the name suggests, understandable, the information that is, presented to the user, it needs to be understandable to the end user. So when we are saying understandable, means what? Understandable means like how the user needs to navigate to the your application, all the functions of your applications, all the information presented in your application is understandable. Okay, let us take a very simple example. So you are giving a wrong message for inputting any wrong information in an input box, and you are just giving an, a color as a red color. You are displaying a red color, for the information typed from. So for a blind user, he can't understand. So you have to provide some kind of text there, so that the blind user can understand. So color cannot the only means of conveying your information. So you have to make your information understandable. Another example is that, suppose you have an image, okay, and for a user who is using an assistive technologies choice and video or voiceover, there must be an alt text which describes your image, right? So that the end user can understand what is that image is about. Let's just take an example. Suppose there is an image where there is an, image of an Indian cricket team. So the alt text should contain that Indian cricket team, so that the end user, the blind user, can understand what is that image is all about. So the third principle of accessibility, that is understandable, is in a very easy, in a very convenient way, making the information, the functions and the navigations of your application understandable to the end user. I hope I am making you understanding in a very easy language. So this is also a very important topic in the interviews, very frequently asked topic in the interview of the accessibility. Okay, so please take it very seriously. Now coming back to the last but not the least option, that is robust. So when we are saying robust means what? Robust means you have an application, you have a website, and there are like different users using that applications across different platforms, right? Someone using in Windows, someone using in iOS, right? Someone using assistive technology, someone using over jaw, someone using our voice over, someone using our NVIDIA, right? So across all the platforms, across all the assistive technology, your application or your website needs to be workable, functional. That is robust meaning, because the going forward that technology is going to evolve, the assistive technology is going to evolve, you know. So with that evolvement, your website, your application should remain robust so that it can function, you know, across all that platforms and all that assistive technologies. That is what robust means. So in a very simple language, today I try to make you understand about the four principal accessibility, that is acronymed as POUR, where P stands for perceivable, O operable, 3 understandable, 4 robust. Okay. So thanks for watching my video. In my next video, I will come up with another important topic of accessibility. Uh, so do stay tuned. If you have any questions, please leave on the comment box, and keep watching my videos and keep liking my videos. Please subscribe my channel if you like my video. Thanks a lot for watching my video.